What's up, YouTube? This is Around the Web, where we watch strange and mysterious videos from all over the web that'll probably keep you up at night and give you a reason to keep the light on. Today, in this episode, we got a little bit of this.
People caught witches in their stands.
This.
What the hell is going on?
Even a little bit of this.
Girls got within 8 to 10 feet in broad daylight of this.
So if you haven't already, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, join the team, and let's get to the bottom of some of these deep rabbit holes. And to those of you that have already taken a few trips with me, thank you guys, and I'm gonna keep making these videos. So without further ado, this is Around the Web, episode 5. Let's get it. Oh. Unbelievable. That was in Sumy, Ukraine today. It just goes to show how you could be normal 1 second and then your life completely changes the next.
Wizard of Oz.
Wizard of Oz. In the sphere. Come on.
Okay, hold on. I saw so much shit in the movie, The Wizard. So we all know the story to where like he's a facade, but he's giving the lion like the courage and the the brain for the scarecrow and all that, right? For the scarecrow, he says, "Hey, okay, I need a brain, right?" And he's like, "Well, I'll give you a diploma so you can be smart." And he gives him the diploma, and he's all smart again, right? And it shows that once he gives the diploma, he says, "Oh, this is your diploma for X, Y, and Z, E pluribus unum." I'm like, hold on. Now, if people don't know what E pluribus unum means, it's on the back of your dollar. E pluribus unum, from one comes many. Sounds like a cult. From one comes many.
And they're also teaching you need a diploma to be smart.
Exactly. Right.
So there's that. Propaganda. I mean, that's early Hollywood propaganda.
Yeah. I find it interesting that, yes, he said that. And I'm like, wait, E pluribus unum. Okay. Then he gives him a diploma. And like how you said, to be smart, you have to graduate and all this other stuff. So speaking of ancient Latin, doctor, does anybody know what that really means? Because when you get a degree, like a doctor or whatever, so doctor in Latin, docere, is actually the root word for docile, for document, indoctrinate. They're all related. So to become a doctor, get a degree, you're indoctrinated now.
And you're docile.
The movie's based on the Federal Reserve.
Oh, shit.
You guys know the real kind of undertone of Wizard of Oz, right?
It's based on the Federal Reserve.
Yes. Dorothy.
She
goes on the yellow brick road, right? Gold. Oz. What is Oz and gold? O-Z. Ounce. She's going to see the Wizard of Oz. Now, think about the characters. Cowardly Lion, okay?
Okay.
You have the Tin Man. Then you have
Scarecrow.
Now, when the Federal Reserve was established, private entity, it's a bank owned by other banks. Now, when they created this new system, they had to monetize us. When they give your name to you, they give you your name in all caps, which means you're an entity, which is a straw man.
Okay.
What is Scarecrow?
Straw man.
A straw man.
What a straw plan.
Think about Tin Man, T-I-N.
Tax identification number.
There you go.
Oh, shit.
There you go.
Shit.
In which your social security number has 9 numbers. What else has 9 numbers?
Bank account.
Your bank account. A QSIP number, which how you identify a stock number, also has 9 numbers. And the Red Shoe Club too. Dorothy, Red Shoes, the Red Shoe Club.
They just had
Oh,
the-
So much to pay attention to these days. Do you think that the Wizard of Oz has something to do with the Federal Reserve Bank, or is this just people connecting dots that don't really have any connection? Let me know in the comments.
Totally right. That's my bad. Peanut butter actually does contain peanuts. So with your nut allergy, I would definitely stay away from this snack. My apologies.
I'm sure that we can all agree that ChatGPT is not 100% right all the time, because there's been many times where I've asked things expecting a certain answer and it gives me a completely wrong answer, especially with math problems.
Black artist or every black actor gets to a certain point, gets taken out. Whether it's Michael or Crosby or R. Kelly or Prince, they all either die under mysterious circumstances,
Nipsey,
or they become troubled and die of an overdose or some medication, or they get done for some sex crimes or whatever. I mean, in R. Kelly's case, every single one of those children were basically sold to him, allegedly sold to him by their parents.
I don't think this just happens to a certain race. I believe that Hollywood sucks the life out of everybody and spits them out as fast as they can. I think they keep the door revolving.
I know what this is. It is a wonk.
Open it, Charlie. Let's see that golden ticket.
Wouldn't that be fantastic? It's not fair to raise his hope.
Never mind. Go on, open it, Charlie. I want to see that gold.
Stop it, Dad. I've got the same chance as anybody else, haven't I?
You got more, Charlie, because you wanted more. Go on, open it.
Here goes. I got it!
Where?
didn't I? You thought I really hadn't.
I got a funny feeling inside. Which end shall I open first?
That end. Just a tiny bit.
Like this?
Now a bit more.
You finish it, I can't.
No, Grandpa, you do it.
All right. Here goes.
I've watched this movie enough times to know that there was never a moon pie being opened. Doesn't this kind of feel like opening Pokemon cards and the letdown that comes with that?
This is the one that's going to make you question everything. The hollow moon theory. Our moon feels like it shouldn't exist, and when you line up the numbers, it starts feeling like somebody put it there on purpose. Let's start with size. Our moon is about a quarter of the size of the Earth, which is freakishly huge compared to other moons and their planets, and I'm not counting Pluto because it's not considered a planet anymore. But get this, the moon is 60% less dense than Earth, way too light for its size. There are only two ways that this works. Either it's porous like a sponge all the way through, or it's a shell around a hollow center. And one of NASA's own, Gordon MacDonald, even said that the data made the moon look more hollow than solid. Now, here's what's baffling. The sun and the moon appear the exact same size in our sky, and nowhere else does this happen. The sun is 400 times wider than the moon, but it sits almost exactly 400 times farther away. Those numbers cancel out perfectly. The famous science writer Isaac Asimov called this the sheerest of coincidences. It's the only reason we get total perfect eclipses, which doesn't happen anywhere else in the solar system. And then there's this. We always see the same side of the moon. Officially, that's because of tidal locking. And to be fair, that isn't unique to our moon, but you have to admit it's a strangely perfect setup for something that doesn't want you seeing its other half. And if people have reported strange flashes, glows, and transient lunar phenomena on the side that we can see, then what's happening on the side that we almost never get to look at? So how did the moon come to be? Well, the leading theory says that a Mars-sized planet called Theia slammed into the early Earth, and the debris became the moon. But test the moon rocks against that, and the isotopes don't show another planet at all. They show that the moon is made of the same stuff as Earth. And then we've got some eerie mythology here too. In ancient Greece, Aristotle wrote of a people in Arcadia called the Proselines. Their name means before the moon, and they told of ancestors who lived on the Earth with no moon in the sky. And they weren't alone. Half a world away, the Muisca of Colombia started their creation story the exact same way. A time when the moon wasn't yet in the sky. Two peoples, two continents, no contact, the same impossible memory. And then, two Soviet researchers took the theory even further. In 1970, Mikhail Vasin and Alexander Sherbakov asked the question that nobody wanted to touch. What if the moon isn't really a moon at all? What if it was constructed, hollowed out, and placed in orbit around Earth by someone else?
What do you guys think about the hollow moon theory? Was the moon placed here? And what's going on the other side?
It may be difficult. It may suck. But you know what? You just gotta suck it up. Suck it up and get to work. And be better. And see your value.
It doesn't look like that many people are actually helping, and they're clearing out such a huge portion. Imagine if the entire city helped clean the city up. The entire city would be clean in 2 hours, no trash on the ground. I don't think I would mind paying taxes for people to clean up like this in our country.
What is the most important thing for every government? Income. The moment certain countries were using the Chinese yuan to buy oil, now we're going after Iran. Now we're going after the Strait of Hormuz. Maduro was protected by the Cubans. They're very good at what they do. They kept Castro alive. Maduro's personal guard was all Cubans. When special forces went and took Maduro, they had no casualties. And his personal guard all went home in small boxes.
I heard that it was due to a weapon called the discombobulator. That doesn't even sound safe. I wonder what other technology the government has that they're yet to unleash.
Go to the hospital and you're dehydrated. What do? They stick an IV in your arm and give you saline. Well, what's saline? Salt water. So why would they stick salt water in my veins if I'm dehydrated? They're trying to hydrate me. Every time someone goes into the hospital in an emergency situation, the first thing they do is start an IV of what? Saline? Why are they putting salt water in my veins? Because they're trying to help me. They're trying to save my life. They're trying to revive me. You know what I mean? So once I realized that, it's like, wait a minute, that's salt. So why are they telling me to stay away from salt? Well, if you have a heart attack, they're going to give you 2 bags. They're going to give you 1,200 milligrams of salt. They're going to immediately inject you with 1,200 milligrams of salt, 2 bags of water, because they know no matter what's wrong with you, and like you said, no, if you go to the hospital for any reason, the first thing they do is they put that salt water in you. So even science...
That does make sense if there is salt water in those saline bags, but what do you guys think? Is there more than just salt in those saline bags? And what kind of salt are they using? Are they using Himalayan salt? Are they using table salt? There's so many different kinds of salts. You guys let me know in the comments.
There was a former Bush official that worked in the housing department. He came out and disclosed that there's $21 trillion missing in the government. And she said that there is essentially a black budget, which is off the books, to where they built underground civilizations, not only on land, but in the water and around the circumference of America. Now they have massive civilizations, but I do find it funny too that a lot of billionaires are spending billions of dollars for bunkers themselves. Zuckerberg, Bezos, you name it, they all have it. And that's what we know of. So imagine what we don't know, what's off the books, right?
That's a lot of money.
That we pay for. That's taxpayers' money, by the way. And then they already have these types of systems that's across America with the trucking system too. You have truckers showing footage where they drive into a mountain. It opens up and it just goes for miles and miles and miles. And that's just for the trucking industry. So what they don't show you, which they do have a black budget to where they fund many things that's off the books. They have probably a utopia down there when it comes to technology.
There are over 150 military bases under the U.S. currently, and the military calls them DUMBs, deep underground military bases. There's a lot more going on than we know.
Popeye's chicken sandwich. Come to find out, they have over 40 ingredients in the Popeye's chicken sandwich. 32 of them were man-made chemicals. And I said, well, let's see what Chick-fil-A has. Over 50 chemicals in the chicken sandwich. Over 40 of them were man-made chemicals. I said, so hell, this is a dope sandwich. So they really are flipping birds over there.
Check this out.
Does everybody have a box? All right. All right, open your boxes. Open your boxes. 1, 2, 3.
This is from the iconic episode on September 13th, 2004. Oprah Winfrey gave away 276 Pontiac G6 sedans. All remember this cultural moment where everyone in her audience got a brand new car. A lot of people online are noticing something and calling this a Mandela effect. As you see in the video, everybody got boxes. You hear her say it. Everybody gets a box. A lot of people remember that the keys were actually under the seat, not in a box. This moment was etched into everybody's memory because it's never been done before. You get a car, you get a car, you get a car. We all remember this moment. A lot of people, including myself, remember this moment, but remember Oprah saying, look underneath your seat.
Usually on the Oprah show and a lot of these talk shows, the prizes are under the seats. Could this be all of us just hallucinating, or did the Mandela effect strike again? Let me know in the comments.
There's a group called the Illuminati. Who are the Illuminati?
Make a long story short, they're the 13 families that control the resources and the entire planet. And they have their ancestry goes all the way back to Sumerian times. And where they changed into the Babylonians, they became the Khazars. They entered into Europe where they merged with the Celtic remnants or the Atlantean refugees, which became the Merovingians. And then that, over the centuries, broke into 13 distinct families that controlled Europe at the time and then now the entire planet.
And are there names for these families?
Yes, you have the Windsors, the Rothschilds, the Romanovs, the Sinclairs. There's a very wide range of Illuminati, but even more so is the range underneath the 13, which is the Committee of 300, which are 300 families that work very closely in association with the Illuminati to accomplish the goals.
You mentioned that in your book that another way of describing the Illuminati is the New World Order.
God runs the world. Then under that, you got 1,000-year-old families in Egypt. Under that, you have the Vatican, the Pope. Under that, you have the financial groups that control all your shit. BlackRock, Vanguard. After that, you have Putin, you have Trump, you have all this shit. And after that, you got what all this shit? Hollywood.
So what I get from that is there's 13 families versus the billions and billions of us. There's so much hidden knowledge and hidden history that a lot of people don't even think of.
You know money is fake. When you go to the airport, the same bottle of water that costs $1 now costs 10. Right? If you live in a community where I live at, everybody see this big ass house. Like, you live in a mansion. I know your light bill high as a motherfucker. I said, no, the light bill out here where we live at is automatically cheaper than the hood. Right? I got a big ass motherfucking house, huge mansion, gang. Light bill $89 a month.
The math ain't mathin'.
If you go to China, they're piloting it a few years ago in Shenzhen. So I lived overseas. If you go to Shenzhen, back in 2017, they already had facial recognition cameras there. So if you jaywalked in Shenzhen, they would immediately detect that and send you a notification, and they would deduct money from your what they call WeChat account. They use two main apps, WeChat and Alipay. So you can actually deduct your money directly from your account. This is 4 years ago, so this is not like some sort of conspiracy theory. It's not something that's going to happen 10 years into the future. This happened in China. And so this system in China that exists is extremely advanced. They can detect if it's a man or a woman. They can guess your age. They can detect what kind of car model it is, who the manufacturer is. This is a sort of technology that we see in all these dystopian sort of films and whatever. And people keep putting it off and thinking that this is something that's going to happen later in my kid's lifetime or my grandkids. It's already here. And if this gets implemented anywhere, especially in a Western nation, it's not going to.
Is everybody in the US and really all over the world ready for a social credit system? I know I'm not. Or is it already here?
There are vans driving around your city right now that can literally see through your walls and no one told you. They're called backscatter vans, and yes, they're real. These unmarked police vehicles are equipped with mobile x-ray scanners that can see through buildings, car doors, and even into your home from the street. You won't hear them, you won't know they're there, and they don't need a warrant. This isn't science fiction. These vans have been used in major cities like New York, Miami, and Los Angeles. The technology was originally designed for the military to detect explosives overseas. Now it's being used here on civilians with almost zero oversight. The vans fire bursts of ionizing radiation, the same kind used in TSA body scanners. But this radiation is mobile, more focused, and aimed straight through solid objects. No law requires police to inform the public. No study confirms it's safe. And there's no limit on who or what they scan.
Don't we have to sign some kind of paper because they're shooting radioactive beams at us? Is this even legal?
While conspiracy theorists insist no 30-06 could possibly behave this way, the round blasted into Charlie Kirk's neck, crushed his vertebra, and ricocheted downward toward his heart, only to be stopped dead by his legendary Superman neck of super-dense steel-like bone. It created no exit wound and lodged harmlessly just beneath the skin, which experts hailed as a miracle that saved the bystanders standing behind him. Up on the rooftop, Tyler Robinson didn't just break down his rifle. He shredded it apart in a ridiculous hyperspeed blur using nothing but his bare hands. Then he sprinted across the roof and launched himself off the edge with expert parkour precision. Tyler made the conscious expert decision to reassemble his rifle one last time and place it under a tree in a bush. He then changed back into his blue jeans and maroon t-shirt in hyperspeed. Time for ice cream.
I genuinely can't tell anymore if we as a species are becoming more stupid or worse.
What do you guys think about the Charlie Kirk situation? The more I watch this trial and the more I learn about this, to be honest, I'm starting to lean a little bit toward what Candace Owens is talking about. Do your guys' research. Let me know in the comments.
Now I understand why the United States don't want us to see anything that's going on in China. So I guess we're not supposed to talk about the fact that Chinese cars are 100% better than American cars. Chinese cars are way more advanced and they're cheaper. America is supposed to be #1 in tech. But we don't see this. Chinese cars are built better. Have you seen some of these Chinese cars? Matter of fact, look at this shit. Tell me what American car you've seen with features like this. Look at this shit.
comes with its own infotainment.
Come on,
and
man.
when I press this button,
look at this shit.
that's a privacy screen. When you look right there, that lifts up. China is not playing around.
At all. Over here, this would be $1 million.
And all of this costs less than $100,000.
Come, that's not it.
In this Chinese SUV,
This is cheaper than
once
that.
you remove the headrest, you can fold the seats completely flat.
Come
That
on.
way you can really stretch out and recline while you
Come
enjoy a
on.
nice movie. Or you can place a mattress that goes on top
A
of the
mattress.
seats for when you want to spend quality time with the wife
What the?
and
Come
start
on.
that family.
You got Elon over here.
When are we getting these things in America?
A heads up if you're traveling into Portland over the next few days. A sinkhole opened up this morning on High Street in Portland, just uphill from Commercial Street.
Drink and drive every night. Statistically, you're going to be better at it. If you drink and drive once a month, you're going to be all nervous. You got to do it a lot. Okay? That's what needs to happen. I'm telling you what it is.
I'm not promoting this at all because drinking and driving is horrible and nobody should do it. But technically, if you do it enough, but still, don't drink and drive. Not smart.
Perry went from singing about God to representing the devil in almost every one of her appearances today, and it all happened for one very specific reason. Because at the very beginning, Katie came from a deeply religious family. The first music she ever released was a full gospel album. She sang about the Bible, about faith, about God. That was truly her identity, but nobody was listening, and that's when she made a choice. She moved to Los Angeles to find a record label that could make her famous overnight, and the label made her a promise in exchange for one single condition, and that's when everything changed. Suddenly, the girl who used to sing about God was now singing about the devil as if it were completely normal. We're not talking about a small change in style. We're talking about a complete reversal, as if everything she used to be had been erased and replaced with something else. And the contrast is so extreme that it's unsettling. Going from the purity of gospel to completely opposite messages doesn't happen naturally. Nobody turns their back on everything they believed in to that extent without a reason. And that's exactly the pattern people claim to see with so many artists. You agree to give up everything you once stood for, and in return you're given fame. Katie did it, and the real question is what she agreed to become the day she signed.
Why is it that all these people that move to LA and try to get into Hollywood end up selling their souls? Are they just offered a deal that is just undeniable? What are we seeing that these celebrities are not seeing?
They're saying that that you're pregnant. There's rumors.
Don't discuss that.
All right. Well, you don't have to.
No,
answer.
that's okay. No, honestly,
you
how
don't
do
have to
I- how
answer
do
me.
I-
Let's just toast with champagne. Let's toast to you not being pregnant. If you're not pregnant, then we should.
Oh my goodness! I can't believe it. Why would we toast to that? How about to the future?
Yeah, you can
and
really-
for both of our futures, who knows what they hold?
Who knows?
How strange is it that we all watched this in 2008 and most of us thought it was just comedy on TV? People are finally pulling this clip back up in the comments, and honestly, it is incredibly difficult to watch now. This wasn't a fun interview at all. Mariah was trapped on stage and the host used alcohol to physically back her in a corner and strip away boundaries, basically. And the craziest part is Mariah was actually pregnant at the time, and she tragically miscarried just weeks after this episode aired.
Whose fault was this? Was it Ellen's fault for offering the alcohol, Mariah's for drinking it, or a mixture of both?
You think Donald Trump has supernatural powers?
It's obvious to me, and I've experienced it a lot, that Trump uses a kind of communication in order to lull his audience into a defenseless stupor. He does a thing that he describes as the weave, where he doesn't answer a question and then he moves into a kind of labyrinth of other seemingly disconnected observations. And the reason that you know it's not merely the rambling of an old man, and he is an old man, he's 80, but it's more than that, because he brings you back as in a labyrinth to the beginning. You want the answer, actually? He does that when he's trying to disarm you or tell you something you don't want to hear, or when he's dodging a question. He lulls you into this kind of torpor where you're not aware that he's not answering the question because you're mesmerized by this word picture he's painting or the absurdity of what he's saying. And he knows it's absurd because he's not stupid. And it's happened to me, I mean, literally dozens and dozens of times with Trump. And every single time I thought to myself, this is the funniest, most hilarious thing ever, in the kind of way when you're a child. I grew up in a world where kids smoked weed young, and you first smoke weed and you're like, you can't stop laughing. It was kind of that feeling. Like, this is so freaking crazy. I love it. That's the feeling you get when you listen to Trump in a personal setting. And so then the question becomes like, does he know he's doing this? And the answer is, oh yeah, because there's a way in which it's a...
How does somebody even figure out how to do this? What? What? That's actually amazing. It's amazing. Wow.
Can somebody explain to me what the hell is going on out here? This guy is wearing an outfit that looks like something that goes in the toilet. Enough is enough. Look what he's holding. I don't know what's going on here, but fashion is getting out of hand. Who's this? Huh? Who is this guy right here wearing this type of outfit? People are saying his name is Tommy Cash. And I think I know why he has the Febreze in his hand. Shut up! Fashion is getting out of hand. Now, I'm not sure if he's holding apple juice right here, but something's going on with this outfit, bro, and I would never wear it. It's creative, but it's ridiculous. I don't know where he got this idea from. I don't know who put him up to this. I mean, it's unique, but it's ridiculous, and I would never wear nothing like that. Imagine showing up to a fashion show looking like a number 2. That's what's going on here, guys. This is ridiculous, and I don't suggest anybody wears this. Not just playing around, guys. Entertainment purposes only. This is fashion at its finest. This is art. This is bathroom art, toilet art. Yo, he crushed it with this.
And nowadays you can wear anything to a fashion show. And I mean anything. He's got that on. He's the shit. But really though, what type of shit is this?
In 1991, a mysterious particle from deep space hit the Earth, traveling at basically the speed of light. If the particle was racing a beam of light to the Earth, after 245,000 years, the light would only be 1 centimeter ahead. I mean, we're talking about a single particle, like a proton or something even smaller than an atom, and yet it was carrying the energy of a baseball thrown at 100 kilometers per hour. And because it's moving so fast, time slows down for it. Crossing 1.5 billion light years of space would feel like less than 2 days. The physicists who caught it couldn't actually believe the reading because it probably shouldn't exist. A particle this powerful should bleed away its energy while crossing space. It shouldn't have really reached us at all. And when we traced its path back, it came from a region of the sky where there's nothing. There's no black hole, no galaxy, no stars, literally nothing. And then in 2021, it happened again. Something out there is firing these at us, and we still don't.
Is this just another coincidence, or was somebody sending us a hello from somewhere deep, deep in space? Let me know in the comments.
Apparently in this World Cup, for a lot of the African teams, people caught witches in their stands, like doing spells.
I heard that. I heard.
There's 2 examples of this. So one of them was against Portugal versus Congo. So the thing about Portugal and Congo, like their ranks are completely different. Portugal's like what, top 10? And in Congo, they're like 50th or something like that. In the stands, they saw someone doing witchcraft on the Portugal team. And they were able to tie against Portugal, which is like almost impossible.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And
against
then
Ronaldo?
Yes, against Ronaldo. And then the same thing happened in the Ghana versus England game. And yo, England's like a top 5 team, and Ghana, they're like 60th place. Somebody saw the same thing in the crowd, and they're able to tie the game.
What do you guys think? Is witchcraft affecting the World Cup, or is this just a guy rubbing baby powder all over his face and blowing it on people? I think that this is exactly what Doris wanted. R.I.P. Doris.
The magic of that culture is very active in my blood, so when I'm able to tap into that depending on certain moon phases, and it's hard not to say ritual because people just take it, practice those things, your cells turn over.
There's a lot of magic in everything, and if you can just, I wish more people didn't demonize it as much as they do.
See, the thing is with this guy, you just don't know if he's one of them who says things to be edgy and didn't at first know what he's getting involved with, but then who he got with. I personally think at that point he bridged the gap and he went over to the other side. I'm not too sure how strong that connection to the other side is with the breakup that he had. Him and her have been on some interviews on their own and together, saying some very dark stuff, and this guy just strikes me as one of them who'd do anything to get to the top. Perfect candidate for the club, if you catch my drift.
What happened to MGK? Wow, what do you do in this situation? What do you do in this situation? Oh. What do you do in this situation? I'll tell you right now, if I was in that situation, I would be fashion ready wearing my own poop outfit. Seriously.
These girls got within 8 to 10 feet in broad daylight of this creature. When they saw this thing, they're looking like, what are we looking at here? They're walking through this field and it's up against a cinder block wall. And one of them was looking at it, it was crouched by the wall. It was weak and feeble. And one of them kind of like screeched, and it turned and it looked right at the girls, locked eyes on them. Liliana grabs her younger sister, who's 14, Valkyria, and hightails it out of there. Katya is 21. She's frozen in her tracks, locked eyes with this creature, and it's communicating with her. Please help me. It wants help. It's weak and it's feeble and it's scared. I asked Katya and I asked all the girls, during that moment of contact, when you lock eyes, I know it's only a brief second, but during that moment of contact, what did you feel? Hear the mother talking about it, and she's so emotional. And the mother came back to the location where it happened, the smell, that stench, and the footprint on the ground.
What would you do if you seen a creature up against a wall that clearly looked distressed? Are you helping it, or are you running for your life? It looks like these two are having a conversation, but not with each other. Did you see how he was chewing on the bread? In all honesty, though, I hope these people get help if they need it, and jokes are bad.
What kind of capabilities do these weapons have in addition to what she's exposed? And, do they have a potential to be deadly?
Yes, ma'am. So in my conversations with Catherine Herridge, and I really thank her very much for the depth and stringency of her reporting, she's absolutely right. There are essentially two generations of these weapons. The first seem to be sonic weapons working in the ultrasonic range, and they tend to produce an overexcitation in hollow cavities and fluid-filled cavities, like the inner ear, but that can also communicate through the bloodstream to the brain to create something like a mini stroke-like effect. Those original injuries in Havana, as you may recall, were originally referred to as the immaculate concussion. But then subsequent generations of these types of weapons, these types of devices, also produce very rapidly pulsed microwaves that don't have a thermal signature and that utilize a laser to pulse the microwaves very, very quickly so that the waveform is preserved, but without the necessary thermal signature, no heat, and without the need for large power sources. It'll make these very, very scalable. Now these operate differently. They actually disrupt the neurological integrity of the nodes and networks of the brain. Alright, Truth Seekers, that's episode 5. I hope you enjoyed as much as I did. We made it back to the other side in one piece. And if you're still here with us, give this video a like and subscribe, and we're going to keep these videos rolling. And to the people that have already done that, big thanks to you guys for joining the team and the network of people trying to get to the bottom of some of these crazy rabbit holes. There's a lot more to this that they are not telling us, and we're going to continue to try to get to the bottom of this. So like always, stay curious and question everything. This is Around the Web. Peace.